Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Beyond Mindfulness. We are about to get started. Hello. You are here, or you are here in the future now. This is the workshop on Beyond Mindfulness. And I created this workshop because I wanted to talk about really the depth of the work that I do and that I have to offer you that really helps get to the root of issues. I think we all can identify with being being like on a hamster wheel of a certain issue, of feeling like we're constantly like we thought we worked through it, but then it's still there. Or you want to work through it, or you tried to work through it, but you haven't quite been able to work through it. And so it continues to come up and out in your life in different kinds of ways. You could interact with me in the chat if you'd like. I'd love to hear you, see you. I'm going to close these other windows to try to decrease some of this background noise in my computer. Um, just give me I don't know if you guys could do emojis, but you could do like a yes in the chat if you feel like you have, tried to navigate through some kind of healing, certain kind of stories, whether it's a family issue or an addiction or a relationship dynamic, and you've tried, but it's still there. You've done what you think you should be doing, and it's still there. Yeah, right. I think if we're alive, we have this issue. Oh, someone gave a thumbs up. Cool. So these kind of new things. Yeah, Heather. Yeah, right. So these days, with all the apps and all the information that's available to us, we can, meditate, we can journal, we can listen to podcasts. There's a lot more resources than when I was first on the spiritual awakening journey in the 90s. And we had to actually meet real people and take in-person classes and spend time with teachers. Now you can just listen to something, watch something, read something, and it might give you an aha. It might give you an insight. It might give you a temporary shift in how you think. But in my experience, temporary shift in how we think alone is not enough to actually change the patterns. Now, what am I talking about in terms of patterns? I'm talking about when you're trying to reach a new level of financial freedom, a career that you really love that speaks from your soul, a relationship that nurtures you on the deepest level, a new dynamic with a family member that perhaps you've been playing out your entire life. Hello. And I was talking with Jeevani about this earlier in the day, right? We have these things that we know on a deeper level are keeping us from having a sense of completion or fulfillment, but yet just thinking about it or trying to be positive doesn't necessarily take us there. So I wanted to get in and share with y'all some of the secrets that shamans and healers know, initiations that I've received and that I've practiced. I've been a hands-on healer. If you don't know me yet, or you don't know me that well, I know all of you who are presently here. Some of the people who signed up watching the replay I might not have met yet. And just to quickly introduce myself, I'm Narayani Gaia. It's my spiritual name. Narayani was given to me by my guru, Swami Satchidananda. I'm in my healing room. Maybe you could see. There's a picture of him over there, a little Indian guy. Um, and I've been a professional healing practitioner since 1997 when I first went to massage school. And in 2002, I had a big spiritual awakening where my chakras opened up and I started feeling energy running in and out of my body, having in and out of body experiences at sunrise and sunset. And I'd done a lot of cleansing, but that was the big purification. And it took me 10 years to integrate that, what was happening to me. And at the time I was doing massage, I was a doula, I went to herb school. When everyone else was having babies, I was studying healing arts and studying energy healing and working with a mentor and doing body work and teaching yoga. And in what I found was that I needed to integrate that awakening over 10 years. And then I started teaching and transmitting through my teaching and my energy work, uh, uh, mm, some of these enlightenment teachings and enlightenment energies. Okay. So in 2012, 13, I started coaching, and in the last 12 years, 11 years, I've been presenting a body of work that trains people to work with their energy to heal, awaken, and manifest. And I'm going to be presenting to you today some of the things that I've learned, as well as providing an opportunity for you to get more involved that I'll be talking about at the end of our workshop today, with the work that I offer and with the work that my community is offering as a result of my integration of my spiritual awakening. So this work comes as a result of my own longing and suffering. And when I talk about beyond mindfulness, I'm talking about it's not just that mindfulness doesn't work, it's that mindfulness works, but it works when we also work beyond the mind. So I want to explain. So as a profound spiritual being having a human experience, and if you know that you're a spiritual being, you wouldn't be here in my sphere at all with this work or in this workshop if you weren't aware of that. So as a spiritual being having a human experience, you know that you are not your mind alone. You are not just your thinking self. You are also made up of your emotional body, your physical body. We have Jeevani here as a beautiful breath work and meditation and yoga teacher, and soon to be coach and Pilates teacher and great mom and healer. You know, we work with the physical body and we work with the emotional body and we work with the mental body in order to heal, right? So we can't work alone with the mind because we are not just the mind. It's kind of like trying to teach a classroom of children through one way of learning when they're all different kinds of learners. You have different kinds of energies, and we're going to be getting into those different kinds of energies in a little bit. But first, I want to name that your different energy bodies are made up of the physical self, the emotional self, the psychological, which is the emotional and the mental, and the deepest self, which is the spiritual self. So when it comes to healing relationship dynamics, addiction, and to manifest new levels of fulfillment in our life and our purpose with passion, we have to work beyond the mind because the mind alone will not do the magic. Give me a thumbs up if this all makes sense. I think you could do a thumbs up in the reactions below. Oops, so we're going to start the summary. Okay, so right? So and at any point, if y'all have any questions, just pop the questions in the chat. I have the chat open and I'm happy to answer. And I might not answer it immediately, but I promise to get to it. So if we recognize that we are not the mind alone, then we have to be able to work beyond the mind or in addition to the mind. I like to say in addition to the mind in order to heal. Whether that healing has to do with an ancestral story, with a past life story, or literally with something you're dealing with right now that you find difficult, whether it's trying to speak your truth, manifest more peace in your home, be a better parent, be a better leader, be a better partner, or prioritize yourself, learn to use your voice, learn to listen better. All of these things are part of the design of your spiritual journey, having a human experience that is unique to you. And I'm going to just, for the sake of this workshop and for the sake of really honoring and respecting you and where you are, I want to acknowledge that you know kind of what you need to work on. And the way that I work with this in the school, in Awaken Life School, in our courses and in our membership, in Awaken membership, is I'd like to invite people to look at two things. And you can pick from one or the two for the sake of this workshop. Recognizing that these two things come as a result of being human, of being human, let's just say. Okay. Now, the two main things are patterns that will show you where your imbalance is. So either you were raised to try to kind of impress or project so that you would be loved, Like, if I succeed, I'll be loved. If I'm seen and I succeed, I'll be loved. Or you took on the belief that children are better not seen and not heard, and that if you're quiet, you'll be loved and accepted. For me, as an extrovert, Aries, raised with two fire sign parents and with my own karma, I am more, let me prove to you how great I am. I'm not the silent, quiet, sit in the corner person. If you are the quiet, sit in the corner person, just make note of that. You might have gone through abuse. You might have been trying to figure out in your life how to stay safe. And I just want you to acknowledge that there's nothing wrong with you, whichever pattern that you find yourself in. Pretty much we can look at the controller and the victim archetypes that we deal with. My lesson is to use my power to not dominate, but to empower, not power over, to empower. And so the methodology that I teach, that I practice, that we're going to talk about today involves mutual empowerment. That's my dharma, my lessons. Perhaps your dharma is to learn to find your voice because you've always been a people pleaser. That would be more on the side of the spectrum that you've kind of sat back. So finding your voice will be the thing to help you heal in all aspects of your life, that will keep you in balance and keep you in creating and manifesting greater fulfillment, even if it's creating ripples. And perhaps if it's easy for you to speak up and create ripples, that the lesson or opportunity that you have in your life is to be able to listen, to be able to bring your attention back into your own self, to find value in who you are, that you're enough as is without fighting or trying to prove yourself. Those are two different. So just give me a thumbs up if you feel like you can relate. You can say 1 would be the controller and 2 is the victim. And if you want to put a 1 or 2 in the chat, you're welcome to. If you want to hold that information private, you're welcome to as well. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, cool. So as we are aware of kind of, as you're aware of what you need to do to heal, and as you understand that the mind alone cannot get you there, this is why I chose not to become a therapist. Because the mind alone will not take us into the level of the depth of healing that is possible. As we acknowledge that, we can start to look at the emotional body and ultimately the spiritual body. And so I want to go over 4 things. And if you have, make sure you have a pen or paper. These days, maybe you're taking notes in your phone. There's something about like the pen, the hand, and the brain and that connection that helps realization. So I still recommend writing. I have all my notes here. I love writing. There will also be a summary of this and from my AI assistant. Thank you, AI assistant. That will be available after our workshop. Okay. So I want to acknowledge that we all have healing to do. And it doesn't mean that we need to judge or shame or blame, but just the reality of our world, right? And so when we talk about getting to the root of our issues, I like to, when I get so bold as to say, I can share with you about, getting to the root of your issues. It's not something I alone have figured out. Although I teach in my own flavor, I always give credit to the enlightened lineages that I've come from, which is vast. I have 4 enlightenment lineages and teachers, and I've taken that information and like consolidated it into one way of teaching. Okay. And out of that, I've discovered how we actually heal. How we actually heal. What it takes. And now when I say that as somebody who has worked with thousands of people. Whether it's on the table, where I had a client whose lymph nodes went down after one session, or someone who healed their trauma around the relationship with their mother through doing embodiment work, or a client who manifested $1 million house, or a client who learned to speak up to her abuser. I say this from experience of what actually works. And so I want to go over 4 things of how we heal. And when I say how we heal, I'm saying how we heal emotionally and spiritually. So now we're beyond the mind. And so these are the things that we need. Now, these are things that we need to heal. And I want to add another element, sustainably. Sustainably. Mindset is you have a great conversation with your friend, or you read a great book that gives you an insight, and you think about things a little bit differently. Sustainable healing is you literally have a change in your energy field, and you continue to be able to hold that frequency. Okay. That's healing. And what we know is that we don't know exactly how long it's going to take, when the big ahas are going to come, or when the layers of the onion are going to peel off. But what we know is that we need to work multidimensionally in order for it to be sustainable. Again, okay. So the first thing that we need to heal sustainably at the root level is safety and connection. And those of you, several people here are in Awakened. You all know this, that we can create a field of safety through working with Mother Earth, through connecting to the root chakra, and also by being in relationships that are safe, right? So even if you're not an Awakened, or if you haven't done a lot of grounding, perhaps you've done therapy. And therapy works when you feel like you trust your therapist, you feel safe with them. Or perhaps you find with a bestie, you feel really safe with that bestie. And if you don't feel safe with that bestie or with that therapist, you can't really open up. You can't fully reveal the parts of you that feel shame or fear. And if we can't reveal that, not just to others, but to ourselves, then the energy can't really be acknowledged and honored. And so we want to make sure that there is a safety, a field of safety, and a sense of connection. And you can do that through being in community, spiritual sangha. In yoga, it's called sangha. Sangha is like spiritual community, spiritual family. You could do that by sacred circle. You could do that working with mentorship with your teachers, with your best friends. Hopefully your friends are uplifting and honest. My besties are pretty much my my top 2, 3 best friends are either therapists or were raised by therapists. So our conversations are always very multidimensional, and it helps me to have them be able to track how I'm processing, as well as working with my spiritual mentor and teachers and guides that I feel can handle me, right? So we want to feel safe. And to take that a little bit deeper, it's possible to create a field of safety, and this is what I teach privately and in groups, within the self, so that you create the resonant field of safety within yourself, which is the ultimate, and then you start to experience feeling safe in all these places around you because you're in the frequency of safety. Okay, so that's the first thing, safety. And what it does is it creates a foundation for the container for getting to the root. Container for getting to the root. We recently had somebody in a group last year who worked with us in our group in Awaken with the mentors, myself, for a while. And at some point she wasn't really making big progress, and she came and she said she didn't feel safe, which was very shocking because we had done a lot to help her feel safe. And what I realized was she was looking to us to feel safe, and it's a very safe, nurturing group. Everyone else felt so. but this person had unresolved trauma and didn't feel safe in their own skin. And so when I talk about feeling safe with yourself and being in that frequency, I talk about connecting to the energy of being grounded and connected within your own skin, not just mentally, but energetically. And the frequency of safety is earth and physical. And I'm going to be talking about the different elements of root healing based on shamanic global traditions, which many of you know about already. We're going to be talking about that. But for now, just want to name that piece of feeling safe in your skin. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. So in order to heal sustainably, we need to feel safe. And what this does is this creates a container for transformation to happen. If you fall in love, and you really fall in love, and you feel like sharing, you can trust the person that you're with. There's a safety that they provide a healthy attachment, right? And I know it's radical to say, and people will argue with this, but again, you can create a healthy attachment within yourself with Mother Earth, and absolutely is required. Okay. Does that make sense? Makes sense. You can type any questions that y'all have below. Okay. So the first thing is safety. And this creates a strong container. Yay, now I'm excited to get into the second thing that it takes to really heal at the root level. So number 2 is to learn to work with energy. Learn to work with energy. And working with energy, when I say work with energy, first we have to understand energy. And when I say work with energy, right now I'm talking about your own energy. Okay, work with your own energy. I'd love to hear actually in the comments what working with your energy means to you. I think that would be interesting. What does it mean to work with your energy? Now, when I'm talking about working with your energy, I'm referring to sitting in mindfulness, in awareness, not mindfulness alone, not just observing, but in awareness of your own layers of yourself. Working with energy could involve meditating, working on your third eye, could involve clearing your energy field. So either working with sage or plants or light. I know Kelly here is in beautiful training right now. Working with light, Reiki, pranic healing, shamanic work, clearing your energy, or working with light. Could be choosing foods based on Chinese medicine or Ayurveda. Could be working with your body's energy, so your digestion. So I need as simple as I need hydration, or I need root vegetables or warm food right now. That's also working with your energy. And working with your energy can be managing, like even like how you talk, like if you speak kind of like here, or if you project your voice, that can be working, choosing how you project. Working with your energy could be receiving more, letting people in, go, practicing receiving. And I'm curious if you have any other thoughts about working with your energy and what that means. You can absolutely post it below. There's no right or wrong answer. Hi, Dana. Allowing the energy to be and noticing where it is and then shifting or transmuting the energy. Yep. That's a way that you can work with your energy. Yep. Pranic healing. Yep. Massage therapy, all these ways to work with your energy. This is very powerful. Now, as a healer, I've been a professional healer for 25 years, literally. I can work with your energy, like my higher self, your higher self, or you come and you get on my table, I do energy work, or I do remote healing, or some way I'm transmitting. But the ultimate is for me is to teach you to fish than to give you the fish. So that's why I love teaching people to work with their own energy. So there's a lot of healers that say, I can open all your chakras for you. I could do this for you. You can. And I do this work for people. I don't open chakras, but I work with people's energy field. But the ultimate is to teach you to work with your own energy, because it doesn't matter what somebody does for you. If you're not ready for that, you're not going to get that healing won't be sustained. If you go to a healer and you're like, okay, she said she opened all my chakras, but like I still have the same issue like 2 months later, that isn't going to work because you are not working with your energetics. That makes sense. So learning to work with your own energy for healing to get to the root is the key to sustainably changing your patterns. And as we spoke about in the beginning, some of you might have missed this, whichever codependent pattern that you know is your lifelong lesson. So if your lesson is to come out, or your lesson is to drop in, whichever, or everywhere in between, when you learn to manage your energy through awareness, choice, consciousness in a way that's serving you to heal, you can get to the root of your issues. So I just want to name that. The ultimate way to enlightenment is through your own healing. And breath is a huge part of it. I'm so glad breath work is so popular these days. Working with the breath helps you to work with your energy bodies. Now, we are mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. Okay, so we are physical. We are emotional. Oh, I'm so sad. We are mental. Oh, I have a story to tell. And we are spiritual, which is beyond words, which is how we are light. We are light. And as we awaken and the layers of the onion start to come off, the inner light gets brighter and the photonic activity in the body speeds up. And the spinning of the photons increases light activity, which helps you become enlightened. Helps you on the enlightenment journey to awaken to who you are beyond the mind and beyond the physical identity. I want you all to take a deep breath into that. It's a lot. And if there's any questions or shares of what you hear me saying or anything you want to put, you can put that in the comments, in the chat. And so when you start the journey of working with your energy, consider thinking of yourself in terms of elements. And I have a few people, I don't think any of them are here, but a few people I'm training this year in energy, hands-on energy healing. And when we do that, we look at the chakras and we look at the meridians, because Chinese medicine and Eastern medicine, as well as indigenous, native, like Lakota, Dakota, North, South American, altars, and shamanic traditions from around the world. Do you guys know that the word shaman is from Russia? It's not a Western. Shamans is a Russian title. A lot of Native American people don't even identify that word, but anyway, just want to name that. We understand, or Wiccan, we have some sisters here that are into Wicca, that we look at the elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, that we look at the elements to start to understand how the body works. So simply put, the earth energy is like the physical body. Water energy is the emotional body. Fire energy is the spirit. And air is the mind. Air is the mind. And we can work to bring them all together through breath, through awareness. But first, again, we want to make sure that we create a field of safety. That was number one. And this is how we get to the root of issues. How we get to the root of the issues. Many of you have heard the term to feel is to heal, which brings me to the number three, the third thing that will help you to heal sustainably at a root level, which is that our issues exist in the tissues. So the body holds story. Body holds story. And most people are not aware of the stories that are in their body. Most people. And the fact that you're here and you're curious shows me that you are probably not most people, and at least that you're open to really do the work to discover what may be in the way of your awakening, of your deep healing, rather, at a root level. Now, I want to explain something. So if you are a light worker and you meditate on light and you run light through the body, that will give you a buzz, that will give you energy, that will help you awaken. Those of you in Awakened, we're going to get into this in March, working with light. We're going to start doing that. But if you are working with light, okay, so fire element, without working with the earth and the water element, you absolutely may be missing the core foundation. Welcome. You may be missing the core foundation that you need in order to feel safe. So remember, feeling safe in the body is foundational for working at a root level. That's why if any of you have ever done psychedelic ceremonies, there's always deep grounding, even sitting on the earth, or plant ceremony, or or a plant ceremony, or psychotropic ceremony, or sweat lodge. There's always, we connect with Pachamama, with Mother Earth, so that you can feel connected and safe. Okay. And also the water element helps get in touch with the emotional body, the feeling body. And so those are foundational if you want to get to the root level of issues, in my experience. And the spirit is the light body. Does that all make sense so far? You guys with me? Thumbs up, A-okay, heck yes. Feel free to put any questions in the chat that you have. So the issues are in the tissues. So we want to be able to work with the emotional body to alchemize the imprints in the body that are there as a result of past trauma, past life karma, ancestral stories, present day imbalances, patterns of overgiving or hiding, which are all living in the body. I learned this because I woke to this awareness many years ago when I used to do massage therapy full time. Never like full time, because you can't do massage full time because it's like 20-hour-a-week job. But anyway, when I used to do that as my main work, and I would be working on like someone's neck, and I would hear them be like, ah, like the tissues literally would talk to me. And so that's when I learned that I was clairaudient. And we'll do another workshop. We do this usually around December, but hopefully I'll get one up sooner than them on awakening your psychic gifts, which is fun. But I started to hear emotions in the body. And you can tell if somebody hasn't worked through certain stories in their body by the way that you feel when they share something that doesn't quite match how they feel. Like they go, no, I'm happy here. I'm fine. But they really seem very angry. It's like, have they worked out that anger or transmuted? Now, there's several ways to transmute emotional stories that get stuck in the body. Now, and you have great reason to hold these stories in the body. They've kept you safe. Being mad at your abuser, resentful to someone in your family. Perhaps your pattern is, I'm just always gonna be nice, so everyone likes me. But inside, you're completely pushing down all your needs to feel safe, to feel understood, to feel connected, feel nurtured. And so we want to get congruent by really acknowledging the stuff that comes up in order to heal. We want to acknowledge, and those of you that are on the path of healing others, you'll feel it. You'll feel it energetically, whether you're remote or in person. Beyond the mind, you'll sense it, and you can sense it in yourself, because the body doesn't lie. The body is humble, and the body holds these different pieces of the story in different kinds of ways. And it manifests as different ailments, even, and diseases. Immune issues is always around boundaries. Constipation, you're holding on, you're not letting go. Same thing with breathing issues. Anger is about trying to stay in control so you feel safe. So the body will tell you the truth. No judgment necessary. All worthy of love and all asking for attention. Shoulder tension can be shouldering the burdens of the world. So make note for yourself and write this down. If any of this speaks to you that you know you're dealing with: anger, resentment, grief. Grief is a big one for me. Carrying a lot of grief is a big part of my story. So there's several ways to start to work to many ways to purify these patterns. And the enlightenment goal is to become a clear vessel for healthy, moving, shiny energy. But a lot of light workers, even yogis and yoginis, they run light and energy through their body without actually tracking the emotional stories that live elementally within the body. And in my experience and from my teachers, my trainings, this is how we get to the root of our pain. If this makes sense, just type yes again in the comments. And if there's any questions, you could post that in the comments. So the way of projecting light or answers is akin to trying to fix a friend or help them when all they want is to be heard. So that's why we don't just run light into it without hearing what it is. We want to discover, you want to discover what the story is that you're holding through the feeling body, the emotional body, beyond the emotion, although the emotion will tell you the story. The emotion will be like, I'm sad. Be like, why are you sad? You could feel how something feels in your body, and you could find the stories. And I train people how to do that. So if you have no idea how to do that, don't worry. There's many ways to show you how. And we'll do some practice today as well. And once we discover that story and really hear it, it actually starts to heal on its own. And this is really, I'd say, kind of the point of this training today, is to share with you this piece. That to feel is to heal. And underneath the emotion is actually a quality of energy. So this is what shamans and healers know. So by going into the feeling underneath the emotion, there's going to be a quality of energy. And that quality could be many things. It could be dense, like a stone, like hard, like constipated poop energy. It could be like kind of mushy and like inertia, like I've given up kind of a feeling. It could be like fiery and like ready to go. It could be many things. It could be slimy. And so we want to go deep enough to find the quality underneath the emotion in order to get to the root of the issues. What are all your reaction? If you have done this before, you can click your celebration reaction or whatever. If you can't do that, just say, heck yes. If you've done this before. If this is new, type in the chat, this is new. I'd like to get a sense of how this is landing. Yes. Right, we have a bunch of healers here. Thank you, Shannon. Yeah, this is new. Thank you. Thank you, Jen. Yeah. Yeah, familiar. Yeah. So we want to be able to get to the depth of energetics. Yeah. Of the energy. And this is what a lot of people don't do. It's kind of like, again, your boyfriend, your father, or your bestie wants to just fix you, but they're not really hearing you. That's the same thing when we use mindfulness, try to just talk ourselves out of pain or say everything's going to be fine. Or when we just like send love, just send love. Now, sending love is good. You really can't go wrong by sending love. Always send love. But if you don't know what you're sending love to, you can't quite get to the root of the issue. So many of you know I had a partner who was Dakota Nakota, who was Native, who passed away. And him and his brother, they did global spiritual healing work all the time. So when we were together, we were part of the circle that did a lot of collective prayer. I'd like to get back into that, by the way. If anyone wants to do more collective prayer with me, let me know. And so what we would do, we'd have to find out specifically what the doctors said or what the issue was that was going on, where specifically in the body and what the story was in order to target the healing. Now, that said, when I do remote healing, I could just work with you and my higher self will do something, and then I could just figure out what it is after. Sometimes it comes after. So there's lots of ways to do it, but I don't project light. If that doesn't make sense, don't worry about it. But the point is, we want to be aware, and the way that you become aware is to find where the stories are in the body. And you can heal it through emotion. Like you all know, if you have a good cry, you feel better. The energy moves. But sometimes a good cry, if you're not really marking that you're letting go, could perpetuate a story. You temporarily feel better, but you're not necessarily getting to the root. So that's why we want to work energetically under the emotion to find the quality and be with that. Those of you that are in Awakened, you know, this is theme 2. Okay, feeling body. Okay. We're going to talk about Awaken in a few minutes. So this is the third thing. Now, there's certain kinds of Qigong and sound healing. We have a sound healer here. There's certain kind of ways to transmute that energy in the body, like healing sounds. And we do this in April in Awaken. We're doing this in April in Awakened. We're clearing with different sound and tones and movements and light. There's ways to alchemize, kind of like turning like leftover soup into like a special dish. Like you would alchemize it and become something different. So there's ways to transmute that works with light, sound, and energetics, but still I always work also with the mind. So we want to work mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Light, sound, vibration is spiritual, and physically. So if you go through a great healing around addiction and you have like a beautiful healing session, whether with yourself or a practitioner or in one of our community circles, and then afterwards you go out and you like drink a bottle of wine, you actually like wouldn't be clearing your liver if you had like a whole liver clearing and then right? So that's where the physical action of how you continue to nurture the healing supports you to really stay at the root level of results with your healing. We want you to be sustainable in consistent way. And this is number 4. The 4th thing that it takes to really heal sustainably is consistency. It's consistency because our issues have many layers. If we think about the kind of work, the kind of awakening that's happening in the feminine, with the feminine in this era, compared to our grandmothers who were afraid to speak up because, like, my grandma lost her husband at 36 and she never got with anyone else because she was called dirty. So you couldn't have more than one husband or one lover or you wouldn't be accepted by society. That was just like 2 generations ago. Women couldn't vote when your grandmother was born. A great grandmother, depending on how old you are. There's things that we're doing in this generation, men and women, that are healing the collective feminine within all of us that's available to us. And that requires many, many layers of transmutation, more than just one healing session or one class or one weekend retreat or one round of therapy for 3 months. This is a life path. If you can relate with that, say lifer in the comments. Big commitment. Commitment to healing at the root level is a long-term journey. It really is. Because we don't know what's going to come up as another layer of this healing. I can go through profound healing. I can have wonderful experience for months or months or years. Then all of a sudden I have an experience. I go on a date with somebody new and all my stuff comes up. It's like, I thought I healed that. Well, guess what? Here's another layer. And all of these tools, safety, alchemy, working through the body, and then consistency are the things that make it quick and make it easy. And so just think about something that you've been through in your life, whether it's a loss of a loved one or something you've created positively, like loss of weight or healed from, or something you've manifested income-wise, career-wise, maybe raising children, some big accomplishments that you've had and where you are today as a result. Just take a moment, pat yourself on the shoulder. Good job. Is so different than where you were before that experience. Why? Because it was an experience over time, and the benefit comes as a result of the consistent actions that you've taken since you've been through what you've been through, right? These are the things that it takes to really embody new patterns, neural pathways, so that not just you clear and get to the root or alchemize, but that you start to fill up with new ways of being. So what used to be alcohol maybe has become a tea obsession. What used to be dating people who were verbally abusive has now become, I take my time getting to know somebody before I'm intimate with them. Or what used to be, I would get mad at my mom. Maybe you either don't talk to them, which I don't necessarily recommend, but that's for another workshop. Or now I have a new way of relating and a new set of boundaries. This work takes practice physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Spiritually, we all have different paths no matter what religion we are. Truth is one. And that means that recognizing that you're a spiritual being with the power to heal and create miracles, this is your birthright. And so I have two ways to support you moving forward. One is to study about your energy in our community in Awakened. We have a beautiful community with great women. Jeevani, who's here, is our yoga teacher. And I've seen powerful, amazing things with her doing and applying this work over the last 6 months. Amazing shifts and dreams we were talking about today. A lot of my clients, it takes them 3-6 months to see their lives change like this, where we go through your different layers of your energy body, starting with grounding and safety, working with the feeling, the heart, the third eye, when to run light through the body, when not to run light, when to just meet yourself where you are, and when to clear, because there's different reasons to work with different aspects of your energy at different times in order to purify at the seed level of these karmic imprints and issues. And so in Awakened, each month we work with one energy at a time as a group. And I'm opening up doors for those of you that are curious to join us for Awakened. And I'm only doing this right now, pre-enroll. So here's a link if you want to join Awakened. And if you go to my website and you go to the Awakened community page, which I'll grab, you can actually see about it, but you can't sign up through the web page because doors are closed to the public right now. So I'm just inviting people who came to this workshop. And so this is the page that you can read all about it with all the things that you get from joining our community membership. We meet Mondays at noon, Fridays for yoga at, that's East Coast time noon, 9 Pacific. And we meet Fridays at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. for yoga. And then we're going to be popping in more Q&As during the week and group community gathering that Jeevani is going to be hosting once a month as well. We have Taylor Wilson, we have journaling, we have a whole community to help you to do the work, to excavate on a soul level the root issues, to learn your life lessons and live your purpose. It's big work, and it's work that is effective when we do it consistently together over time. So if that speaks to you, join Awakened. So there are the 2 links for you to check out. Hi, Jeev. Do you want to say something? Yeah, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I want to hear you. Yeah. And the second thing I want to name is that if community seems like too much and like trying to fit into a schedule is too much, I am opening up a couple of slots for private clients right now. And so if you feel like you'd be more drawn to work privately with me, or if you're currently in Awakened and you want more support and you want privates, then explore working privately with me. And I just put a link in the chat for a private consult, which I'm opening up to everyone in this group. So if you want to just have a conversation personally and say like, I want to know which to do, and I have some questions, book a consult with me and I'm happy to talk with you. Go ahead. What do you want to say, Jeev? Welcome. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. This is so great. And I just love what you offer to our community at large and then in our smaller Awakened community. And I'm so honored to be a part of it and to just, to have this time to dive deeper into our own healing and to, see what our stories are. And you really helped me to do some clearing that I didn't even realize was there. So I just wanted to say that, like, I think working with you privately is really, really powerful as well. But I love what we're doing together in Awaken. And I think it's only going to get better. And, as we learn more about each other and, get to dive deeper. So
Will you share a little bit? Thank you for all of that, my love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm wondering, because I haven't heard you really share about that whole healing with the back body. Would you
Mm.
share a little bit about that? I think that that could be really juicy, whether you guys want to join Awaken or just kind of hear how this works in action, because we really did get to the layers.
Yeah, no, it really was powerful that
That last session we did a couple of weeks ago
last session we did.
privately. Yes.
So I will just say, first of all, I work with a lot of pain in my body. I have lower back pain. I was having a shoulder pain, like I had a rib out for weeks, you know. So these were things that were going on. But when we started that session and you asked me to feel and where I felt, and I felt like this major pain in my mid back. Unlike any other, I've never really held pain there. Like I have these other issues that were going on concurrently, but that was where I was feeling it. And when I really felt into it, and I had to actually get out of my head because my head wanted to like step in and like, you know,
Fix it.
that to, yeah.
Right.
So my story was that I have to do everything alone because I have for so long, and I've carried my family and being a single mom. And now that my mom is, you know, not able to, I don't know, she's become more of a dependent. And so, you know, it was an interesting story because I'm so independent. And so
Right.
I'm so used to doing it all, to clear that I don't have to do it alone, you know?
And what was so interesting is we had talked about it for months, but once we actually went into the feeling body, I mean, for you to even say like that pain was there and it's gone now, like weeks later, like it's amazing how I didn't make it up. I can't take credit for it, you know,
No,
but I discovered it by crying at my altar in my 20s and 30s, like God, like show me God, goddess, all that is like, how do I release this like human suffering? And I was shown, you know, like these places where things were, and they started lifting and leaving. So it's really like psychosomatic spiritual transpersonal psychology. Like if I was writing a PhD, which I am, it's called my book. It's a 45,000 page book, not page, word book. That it would be like, that's what the topic would be. Thank you for sharing that testimonial. I know you're aware that we're at time, so you made it succinct. Good job of being succinct.
tried.
You totally did. If anybody has any questions, do post them in the chat or any takeaways from today's session. We would love to see you if you're drawn to join the community group Awakened. It is at an all-time low right now, $97 a month. It used to be like 400, so I can 500, over 500 for some groups, 555. So it's dropped way down, and it is not going to stay at this low rate. This is a new version, so it's the most reasonable way to work with me. This is a great time to join, and especially at the beginning of the year. If you guys want to connect privately, you can absolutely book a consult. And if you have any takeaways, thank you, Shannon. I'm so glad you're joining us. And any questions, you can also email. Thank you so much. Thanks, G, for popping on. I love you. So I want to squeeze you again. Hopefully see you in person this year, my West Coast mama. And thank you all so much for showing up. I really hope this was valuable. Thank you for the hearts, cuties. Really hope this is valuable for you. Any questions that you have, you can also pop into the Awaken Life Tribe Facebook group, or just book a session or join Awaken. We love you. Thanks so much. Bye. Thanks, ladies.